Hi there, Rabbi. Lashana Tova. Did I get it right that time?
Yes, you did. Spot on, Joe.
Well, it only took me 40 years. And I'm enjoyed my apples and honey, and I made a kugel for dinner. And we're well into our celebration of the new year.
And it's the year 5785. And the dating comes from creation. Now, we know that that's not scientific or accurate, but it's metaphorical. The idea that the world came into being at some point is why we date it. It wouldn't matter whether it was 57, 85, 75, 87, a billion 27, that as long as we don't take it literally, unfortunately, some of my co-religionists take everything literally, and that just ruins the metaphor.
Well, we all like to have our levels of belief. And sometimes it's easier to just, as we say in the church, genuflect and say the prayers.
But you know what? You can have it. Just don't think of it as 5,785 years. The idea being there was a time before creation. So we can celebrate the birthday of the world. And that's something else we do on Rosh Hashanah. We celebrate the birthday of the world.
And it's a celebration. It's truly a joyous event. They call it the high holidays for a reason. Um, but is there more to it than that? I mean, do we have in Catholicism and Christianity, we have holy days of obligation. And there is an obligation during the high holidays, isn't there?
Well, there is, but it's an internal obligation. It's this idea or feeling that I want to be with other Jews observing Rosh Hashanah and then 10 days later, the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. So I want to be there. So the obligation is not external, it's an internal obligation that we put on ourselves that this is the time for me to show up. The idea is we welcome the new year. We have a day of atonement, a day when we go to God and say, I just spent the last 10 days apologizing and making amends, and now I'm ready to tell you what I did. Then 4 days later, we celebrate the Harvest Festival. Then 7 days after that, we start the cycle of reading the Torah again.
There is no real equivalent in Christianity to all this because we have high celebrations and starts and beginnings, but they don't related to the general scripture. And that's one of the distinctions that I first noticed when I started hanging out with my Jewish family and friends, that it's all very connected.
And we also go Lashana Tova, and Tov means good, not happy. December 31st, we go Happy New Year. And as Jews, a lot of us celebrate the calendar New Year. It's a wonderful, joyous occasion. It's a happy time. But this time, we want it to be good. And there is a difference between wishing someone a good year and wishing someone a happy year. Happiness can be fleeting. It can be only on the surface. But good is really a deep subject, if you will. What does it mean to have a good year? It means a healthy year. It means not just that good things happen, because sometimes what we think of as good isn't, and what we think of as bad isn't. It's not quite that simple that we want to do that. We're looking out for welfare, for health, well-being, being content, being satisfied. And that's what the New Year's about. And we eat apples and honey and other apple cake and sweets. The idea is for a sweet New Year. Again, it's all symbolic, it's all metaphorical. You should have a good, sweet year, Joe.
Well, at the risk of crossing the streams, I would say what makes me happy and what I think is a good thing is getting to share this with you, Rabbi. Thanks as always for your wisdom and information.
And for those of you watching and listening, this is my prayer, but not just for individuals, but for our country, for countries that are at war, for countries that are being invaded, that may the coming year be that of wholeness, completeness, and peace. And maybe 5785 will be the year when we stop all the nasty shooting and killing of each other and truly have a good year.